Welcome to the Mama Making Podcast, a space for moms figuring it out in real time, at home, at work, and everywhere in between. Hosted by me, Jessica Lamb, this show is here to help you feel a little less alone in the mess and magic of motherhood. Each week brings a mix of solo reflections, expert interviews, and real stories from moms leaning into themselves, whether that's into parenting, into entrepreneurship, or just surviving the day. Because there's no one way to do motherhood, and you don't have to do it alone. If that sounds like your kind of vibe, make sure to follow the show, share it with a friend, and keep showing up, exactly as you are. This episode of the Mama Making Podcast is sponsored by Collabs Creative. If you're a mom building a business and trying to do it without a roadmap, you're so not alone. That's exactly why I started Collabs Creative, to help founders like you tell your story, grow your brand, and actually connect with the people you're meant to serve. From social media strategy to full-on content creation, we do grassroots marketing that feels real, because it is. If you're ready to stop throwing things at the wall to see what sticks and start showing up like the founder you already are, head to collabscreative.com and let's start building something good. Now let's get on to the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mama Making Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica. If you're new, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. Today, I am so excited to have Esther Bertram on the podcast. Esther is a CMO of Mini Maestros Australia, a structured music and movement program for babies to 5 years old. She also is a longtime singer-songwriter, producer, and creative force with roots in both music and storytelling. Thank you for being here, Esther. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you, Jessica. It's really good to be here.
So tell me a little bit more about you, who you are, where you're from, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Australia. My mother's actually from Finland, from the top of the world, and my father from the bottom of the world. And yeah, I grew up here and studied music from a very young age. I had a lot of music around me from my parents. They were young when they had me. And then I was enrolled in the Canberra School of Music program from kindergarten. Actually, they started a special program for just some of the children, almost like an experiment, and we were taken out of class for 1 hour a day for my whole primary school life doing music. So that really set a great foundation for me then following music. I didn't know what I would do when I grew up, but then I ended up becoming a songwriter when I was 13. And then straight after that, I went to university for 4 years and studied composition, did a Bachelor of Arts and a diploma. And then straight after that, I moved to Europe to follow my dreams of being a famous musician around the world, which kind of had ups and downs, but it lasted 14 years. And I got some really amazing experiences all around Europe, playing on big stages and small stages and everything in between. And it was wonderful. And then I came back to Australia about 10 years ago, joined Mini Maestros, and I'm still a performer. I've got a band now with my partner. He plays cello, and I'm still writing songs. And yeah, I've been working for Mini Maestros as the CMO for I had my 10-year anniversary not that long ago. And yeah, we are just Australia's longest running provider of music lessons for babies to 5-year-olds. And when I first joined, I was a bit skeptical, thinking, because I taught guitar a little bit to children in the UK, and I started from the age of 6, and I wondered, teaching babies from 5 months old, that was new to me when I joined Mini Maestros. And when I started doing it and I got to witness the outcomes for the children and I learned the science behind it and I just saw what was happening, it's just phenomenal. And I've stayed with them all this time because I'm so passionate about giving children the best start in life you can. And I've realized music is the key, especially in this window. And yeah, I'm very passionate about getting the word out about that. And so that's why I'm here on this podcast.
So your background in music, as well as your experience in early education, having music kind of infiltrated into your daily, is so interesting that you wound up doing this whole amazing music career and then wound up kind of back where you started in early childhood. I imagine the experiment was successful.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was on another podcast the other day and I told them a bit about that. And they said, wouldn't it be interesting to see where the children have ended up these days? And I would actually like that. I didn't get to say it on that podcast, but I actually know two of of the people. I know three. I still know three from that time. And one of them is actually teaching music in Canberra at high school and doing all kinds of musical projects, as well as he had his own, he was in a jazz band, and he was already phenomenal as a child at piano. And I used to always watch him going, he's amazing. So he's followed music still. The other one I know of, he's quite really high up in the corporate world in Sydney, doing deals with China to do with infrastructure. I don't know, but that's the thing, like long-term effects of music. It's proven like we have this higher executive function to be able to problem solve. Creative problem solving is one of the biggest outcomes. So I can imagine for him, he might not be doing music, but he is doing big scale problem solving. So yeah,
Yeah.
I got a
Some high
mini
achieving for sure.
yes.
So that kind of leads me into my next question. Why do you think, being with many maestros now for so long, what have you seen in why it's so powerful to the development of kids from birth to 5, in being engaged in music of any kind?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've known it for a long time, many decades, but the science is coming out now. There's a lot of studies about this crucial window. So until the age of 6 is when you have the most neural activity. The synapses are firing and there's all kinds of things happening, and children have the most neuroplasticity in that time. And what happens with music, there's this great researcher, Dr. Anita Collins, and she's called it the fireworks effect or the super sense network. And what happens, music's proven to be the only activity that connects almost all areas of the brain at once. And you're creating little neural highways that connect parts that haven't been connected before. So, and they last forever. So, and it only happens between this window until you're 6 years old. And there are so many outcomes that are short term as well as long term in that period. So in the short term, children are building confidence, they're having emotional regulation, they are developing their speech, they're developing their language, they're developing their audible skills. And then long term, like I was saying, this creative problem solving, they're better at mathematics, they're better at school readiness, they're better at reading, writing, all of the things. So yeah, it's a fascinating area of research that I wasn't aware of until I came to Mini Maestros and started diving into it, and just seeing, like, taking the science away and just seeing the children in the classes, the outcome is very evident on their faces. So you see little babies that can't walk, they can't talk, swaying because they're feeling what they first felt when they were just growing in mum is that heartbeat. They're feeling the rhythm and they're just intuitively knowing, okay, this feels good. You're seeing little 2-year-olds just light up, their faces are beaming with happiness. It's not just that they're having fun, it's actually that they are getting brain food. And if you're feeding your little one's brain with this ability to connect the two hemispheres, and basically you're just feeding it food, brain food, it's like giving the best nutrients you can to a plant. They're just beaming and thriving because of it. And then they have really long reaching effects into their adulthood and forevermore.
Yeah. So what do the classes look like? Like, what is the structure of the classes?
Yeah, it's all about fun, because obviously kids this age, we're not making little prodigies, we're making holistically developed children, and they're having a lot of fun. So there's a lot of music, movement, instruments, like special dances. We even have puppet play and lullabies and some craft work as well. So it's all in one, all different activities. And we keep the activities short enough relevant to their attention span at that age group, and also the class length, because we've done it for over 40 years. We've worked out the exact amount that's best for children of that age to walk away not feeling like, oh, that was I don't want to do any more. They're hyped up because they're just so happy and they want more. But then they finish and they can do more in between their next weekly lesson. That's the great thing with the on-demand. They repeat, because children learn through repetition.
Yeah, I know that when my son was little, he has always loved music, and I love music as well, but I'm not instrument inclined. I haven't had the opportunity to engage in an instrument or music outside of just being an avid listener. But from a very young age, I remember my son being super interested in like things that made sounds and loud noises and soft noises and that like vibration feeling. So when he was little, we did a class that you could go to at the library. It was a free class and he loved it, but I didn't. I was like so bored. It wasn't engaging. Like he liked the instruments, but like the program itself wasn't super engaging for him. I guess that my question is I feel like parents don't really realize the impact that it might be having,
Mm,
myself included, on when you're bringing your kids to a class or a virtual class like Mini Maestros. Can you talk a little bit more to what people aren't realizing as parents that they're
yeah.
doing positively for bringing their kids to a music class?
Yeah, absolutely. So, beyond just that brain development that they're creating these new highways, there's the outcomes of confidence, creativity, resilience, and awareness. So, these four pillars are really strong outcomes of if you take your child to class. And we know that the world is changing rapidly. There's been all kinds of crazy things happening in the last years. We need our children to be really prepared for the future as best we can. And one of the best ways to do that is give them confidence, give them creative problem solving, give them resilience, and give them awareness. And the way that Mini Maestros does that is when you have a structured class that's sequential, that builds upon itself rather than, you've just taken your little one to a library class. They have a lot of fun in the meantime because their brain's getting the food. They're having fun. They like the instruments, but without the structure, they can't build that confidence. You need to have repetition where they learn a little skill every week. It develops a bit more. And what happens with children of this age is it creates what they call a growth mindset because there's no right or wrong outcomes. It's experimental. They're learning through play, but they're also developing these parts of the brain. So when you repeat and repeat and they build up those skills, they become very confident children. And that confidence spreads to every area of their life. And they end up going into school and kindergarten much more prepared for school readiness because they're confident, they're resilient because they've also learned, you can make a mistake, you can play the wrong thing, but it's okay in music and you can try again. You can do it like this and you can learn all different outcomes with the same freedom within the framework. And they become very aware because they are listening more. They have to listen. When you're involved in music, you have to listen because it's like a conversation and you're listening and then you're participating. So there's really a good area for emotional development and emotional intelligence and empathy because you're involved in something that's beyond just yourself. And yeah, all of these skills are outcomes that happen. That's why it's absolutely fascinating to me because it's like taking a one magic pill that has so many outcomes all in one. And there's very few activities for under fives that, yeah, you can just get so much because it's beyond just music. And when you said before, you're not musical or whatever, and I always feel like I'm a little bit sad when I hear that because I know that
Yeah.
everybody actually is. We all are, and every child is. It's not like some children are more musical, and some are not, just because they dance or they sing. Every single child is musical, just to different degrees. So that's, like I was saying, the first experience of reality was that heartbeat. So all of us, we grew into the world through rhythm. We felt our mum, that was our world. And then we came into the world of stimulation and overstimulation. And often we miss then that connection. And if you don't give your child enough musical experience, they will later on in life think, oh, I'm not musical. But it's just because it wasn't nurtured at that time. But it's never too late, even for you.
So I have always wanted our son to have an instrument, and
Hmm.
he is like obsessed with drumming, which is so
Yeah.
funny to me because if I
I'm
were to
sorry to
ever
hear
play an
that.
instrument, yeah, but if I were to ever play an instrument, it would absolutely be the drums. So it's so funny
Yeah.
that that's his like thing, and I'm like, all right, have at it.
Yeah, it's good. I'm only joking about that, by the way. I only say that because my
Oh my
ex
gosh.
was a
Yeah.
drummer and lived for
Yeah.
14 years with the noise.
Yeah. Oh,
No, no,
I'm
no, it's
sure. Yeah.
fantastic. And it's,
Yeah.
drums are absolutely really good for especially children with a lot of energy because it's so physically demanding and they're literally releasing energy through the limbs for any child that's showing that extra on the spectrum of a lot of energy and they need an outlet. Yeah, drums fantastic.
So that perfectly goes into my next question. I think us as parents have such a hard time deciding what is right for our kids, quote unquote, right?
Mhm.
Like, what's the right activity? What are they going to love? And I think we have such a different spectrum of personality that some kids are
Yep,
really shy and some kids are very high energy. My son is one of
yep,
them. But then
yep,
also neurodivergent kids or kids on the
absolutely.
spectrum, the autism spectrum. I think there's so many more opportunities now than there maybe were before. But how would you encourage parents of a kid with any personality type or neurodivergence to kind of claim their space in your music classes?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's amazing about music is it caters for all children wherever they are. And one of the functions is self-soothing. So you have like your little one, he will find his way that if he needs to emotionally regulate, he will have that energy. He'll naturally be drawn to the drums because it's an intuitive thing for him to self-soothe and regulate himself because he when I let that out, I'm balancing myself. And you have little ones that are shy and they are very introspective and they're deep thinkers and they're deep feelers already. And they are processing reality in a completely other way. Music can function for them like you can imagine if you have a shyer child in class, they might just like to do the gentle movements. We have like the little peekaboo scarves. We might be doing a flowing thing. And for them, they are finding relief that they're being met in the vibe that they're feeling anyway. They are a flowing, gentle, reflective, introverted child, and they might just feel so lovely doing the movement of that just because it resonates with what they're thinking and feeling anyway. I had a little child when I first joined Mini Maestros. I did some of that. I was teaching before I did the marketing, and there was this little child, and I loved him so much. He was amazing for his age because he was on the spectrum, undiagnosed at that point. The mother that was her first child, so she didn't have any reference point, and he was so advanced in his skills. Like every morning you start the class with the welcome song and you have everybody choose an activity. You might be doing clapping, you might have TikToks where they're TikToking side to side or jumping, and everybody gets their turn. And when it came to his turn, I asked, what would you like to do this morning? And he then said he wants to be a weather station. And that was because he would have a fixated subject matter that he wanted to know everything about every different week. And that's what he wanted. And he had the outlet then of being validated in the music class that we would all, because you all have to do whatever the person chooses. And then all these little children were standing all in these weird weather station positions. And he got to then, I then talked about, oh, what does the weather station do? And there was an outlet for this fascination of this subject. And it was perfect for that. So every child can have, no matter where they are, they can find their path because music can be energetic, music can be calming, music can be expressive, music can be mentally stimulating.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think that with the structure of the class, it sounds like they have a lot of different opportunities to kind of tune in to however they are vibing that day. And I think, I mean, music is so vast in general and instrument and music type. And I think it just provides so much opportunity for kids to really like clue in to who they are and just kind of like go with where they're at. So, yeah, that's like the perfect example.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because also the other side, like the energetic child, needs to sometimes learn how to be quiet and have the lullaby, or the shy one needs to learn how to dance, come out of themselves. So there's the challenge, like we learn through challenge. Sometimes that's not easy. It's not easy for an energetic child to sit down and listen and have a lullaby, or the shy one to experience movement. But when they do that, they're building confidence and they're building resilience and they're building that balance that we do need in life to survive and thrive.
Yeah. We've been doing like a dance party before bed because my son gets like this crazy burst of energy before he's ready to go to bed. So we're like, all right, let's just roll with it. So we've been doing like crazy dance party in the living room, and then
That's great.
we go up to bed and we do like quiet meditation music. And at first it was like kind of hard for him to get what we were trying to do. But after a while, you can see him starting to calm down, and just like you can almost see it happen, like getting in tune with the music, that his body starts to calm down. It's so interesting to watch as a parent, and like see it working
Yeah,
immediately in action. um
that's amazing. Yeah.
what have other parents shared with you as instructors, about the impacts that the classes or just music in general have had on their kids?
Yeah, one of the amazing ones that I love to hear, and it's very common, is from the shy children. So they might be watching the class, doing the classes, and they're what we call onlooker learners. So they're not actively participating straight away. They're just watching. And you wonder, okay, is anything really happening? Like they're fascinated by it. They're not losing their attention, but they're not really engaging, not for a while. Like they take longer. Like some are very straight away. They want to play the instruments, and other ones, they just do the onlooking learnings. And there's been so many times that we've heard from the parents that later between the classes, they suddenly come out of their shell like they've never come out, and they will set up teddy bears and they will run the class. So they're modeling the teacher, and they will then sing the welcome song to their family or to the teddies or whatever. And they've been learning the whole lesson from the teacher's perspective. And then they'll do the songs and they'll start singing and these spontaneous dances and singing in between classes. And it's just because of the way they process. And that, I love those stories. And that's quite common, especially for the ones that you think, what's going on? Because they're not really able to communicate yet what's really going on. But then you see it like that. They're just learning it all.
Yeah. How does it vary in terms of, I don't want to say participation, that doesn't sound positive, but in terms of the different age groups from infant to 5, how do you see, well, one, how do the classes operate differently for age groups? And then what are kind of the outcomes you guys start to see as they go through each of the programs?
Yeah. So when they're really small, we're doing a lot through the body. So you learn everything through the body. Babies, they're not yet able to, they're just mastering the skills to hold little shakers. But one of my favorite things is the end of year concerts for the babies. And because you think, they haven't participated or done many actions yet because they can't walk yet. They can't walk, they can't talk. But then they have learnt with the peekaboo scarf about the phrasing of music. So we play them pieces of music, and by the end of the phrase, we press stop, and that's when they take their peekaboo scarf off. And you'll have this whole row of babies on the stage with their parents. And then the music stops and they all at the same time pull off their peekaboo scarves. And it's amazing. And it blows the audience away because no one thinks babies can do anything in sync with other babies. And they do it. So they're learning through the body then phrasing of music. When they're getting a little bit older, obviously it's becoming more in the conscious reality. And we're doing a lot of imaginary play at that stage because they're still able to make believe, like we'll do fish songs, and we create realities where they're using a lot of imagination. And then it becomes more, as we get older, more and more concrete. And so by the time they're in the 4-year-old class, and this happens at the concerts too, they'll have their chime bars. They're actually composing their own songs, and they're finally doing music in a concrete, structured way where it's conceptually understood by them as well. It's gone away from the body, away from imagination, and they're concrete by then. And when you
That's
go to the
amazing.
concerts, you get to see it's always all 5 levels. So you get to see that for the in-person classes, you get to see all the levels and you go, oh, I see where it's all developing to. Yeah.
I automatically think of like, I was a dancer, so I think of like the dance recitals when the little
Yeah.
ones are there, and it's like crazy that they can even remember these dances.
Yeah.
So that's immediately what I think of.
Yeah.
So we'll do a quick lightning round of questions. What is your favorite Mini Maestro class instrument?
Instrument. I would say the little drum. I mean, yeah, I do like drums. Banging on anything with a rhythm is just, personally, I like that. I always would have loved to have been a drummer as well. I'm a guitarist, but I love drums.
Yeah, that's a good one. What songs do you typically catch yourself singing after class?
Well, I'm not actually in the classes anymore because I'm run the marketing department.
Right.
They are very catchy though.
Yeah, think
If you want to, like, even if you're not musical, or you don't see yourself as musical, just know that your voice is the best sound to your baby in the world. So no matter how you sing, if you can't sing in tune, that's fine because your baby cares more about your enthusiasm for music. And one of the things to bring music into everyday living is to turn everything into a song. And you can use it to help your child learn how to clean up. You can use it, for example, here's a tune that most people know. And if you want to, you might be washing hair on a Tuesday morning. This is the way we wash our hair, wash our hair, wash our hair. This is the way we wash our hair on an early Tuesday morning. Or then you want to pack away the toys on Wednesday. And you gamify reality through song. So you go, this is the way we pack our toys, pack our toys, pack our toys, and on and on. So you can turn any single activity into song. And children then suddenly they want to do it and they don't even know. The other thing is they can do, if you want them to learn your address or your phone number, you can sing it to them or rap it to them. And if you do that same thing, the 466 or whatever, just like jingles work on the radio, you can program your child to learn information through song because it stays in the head far more than just words.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys had it the same way in Australia, but when we grew up, like there were specific companies that would do like a sing-songy rendition of either like their company name or their website or their phone number that like we still remember and joke about as kids.
Exactly.
It's
That's
so
how it
funny what
works.
sticks.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you share more about programming, what the offerings are for kids early to 5?
Yeah, sure. So this is why I'm on this podcast. I'm so excited. We have an on-demand offering for the whole world. We've made it super affordable because normally an in-person lesson, if I was teaching guitar, it would be $50, for example, Australian dollars. That's like 30 US dollars. Our whole 10-week course for 10 lessons is 49 Australian dollars, which is about 30 American. So if you break that down, it's like $3 a lesson. You can do them again and again and again for a whole year, each lesson. And we offer the first one for free. So if you want to try out Mini Maestros, you can come and look at the links in the show notes and try your first one for free and just look at your child's face afterwards. And it's a beautiful bonding moment you can do with your child at home. And we also have a payment plan to make it even affordable. So they're very, very affordable. You can do music already with your little one whenever it suits you on your schedule because everyone's busy these days. It's better than going to an in-person class where it's a fixed day. You can't wear your pajamas and you have to go there, have to get ready for it. So this way you can just have the freedom at home and you can involve siblings, you can involve grandparents, enjoy it at home.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell people where they can find you. Obviously, we'll put it all in the show notes, but website, Instagram, whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah, so the best is just looking at the show notes because it's a big, long word. It's minimaestros.teachable.com, but we'll have all the links in the show notes, to try the first class. And love to have some people give us some feedback, how they enjoy the classes. And we know that our children loved the lessons. Like we had a lot of them doing it over the last years when we couldn't always run in-person classes. And the children get a bit addicted to it because as I said, it's building up that confidence. And when children are building confidence, they feel really energetic and happy. And so they like repeating their songs and involving parents as well. So it's a great thing.
That's amazing. Anything else you'd like to share about Mini Maestros?
I think the only thing I want to share is just for parents who are not aware of this crucial age, like what's happening in children's brains, it's a really, really excellent window if you want to have long-term effects for your little one and give them a head start and an advantage in life. Music is it's like a secret key to a treasure chest. And I just would love parents to they can go and look online at the research, and even on our website we have articles as well about it. but just realizing that this is the window to take advantage of this neuroplasticity, because the effects are just so far reaching, and yeah, you can really, really help them thrive in life by doing music.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This was so amazing. I've learned a ton. I can't wait to get on the on-demand classes with my son. He's going to love it.
Amazing.
But thank you for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
That's it for today's episode of the Mama Making Podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with a friend, leave a review, or follow us on social media. We love hearing what's landing for you. And most importantly, keep making your way through. You're never in this alone. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.